We're learning that Mexican drug cartels are fueling America's shoplifting surge. They're selling the stolen stuff online and then laundering the profits through, guess where? Chinese brokers.
It's weird to see these cartels diversifying. They're almost like Amazon now. They're doing drugs, smuggling, and theft. Pretty soon, they're going to have their own podcast. But I think, but there's another thing that we said a long time ago, and I bet we don't. Bombing the remember we said we're talking about bombing the cartels?
Yeah.
And people go, no, that's an act of war. That's in another country. So, yeah, but we do that to terrorists as well. And this is kind of a terrorist activity. And the thing is, now you see, at least on the Republican side, a lot of candidates are talking about doing it. And I think it's a good idea. I think we need to elect a president who values a border. That's the important thing. Bomb these. And if there's like one cartel we can cooperate with, let them kill the rest. Encourage them to kill the rest.
Okay, so whatever portions of what Greg Gutfeld just said you find to be awful or advocating for war crimes or advocating for starting a war with Mexico, to be clear, those parts will become jokes at that point. At the point that you have a problem with it and he might get in trouble, he was joking. But what he's doing there, of course, is advocating for us effectively starting a war with Mexico. And look at the seriousness with which he employs that argument. I want us to bomb them. I know that everyone says you can't just bomb a foreign country, but we bomb terrorists, so shoplifting is kind of terrorism, so I guess we can attack Mexico? Rigorous argument there, and totally anti-war, as Fox has branded themselves over the last few years. JR, this is not the worst thing that Greg Gutfeld has advocated for on his show, potentially over the past few days, but it is wild what you can just casually drop on the 5.
Yeah, especially when you're Greg Gutfeld, because there's the joke surrounding all of it. So as long as you say it with a joke and a smirk, then all the horrific things you say don't really mean something unless people decide to take it seriously, which I guess is the objective here. Who knows? But again, like you said, it allows for this deniability to be like, well, I was just joking before the guy who listened to what I was saying went about whatever it was that I suggested someone should maybe do. But at least in this case, it's as far as the United States and attacking the cartels. What does that look like? What does that mean? Again, we talked way at the beginning of the entire show about the lack of actual specifics to what people believe in and what they are saying. They just say, and we know this and we say that and we know that. Why do we know it? How does this look? So this attack on the cartels in Mexico, which ones, where are they? How do you attack just the cartels? What happens after you attack them? How does that work out? Because, I heard we were involved in some wars before and we didn't know exactly how to get out. And then once we did, it was a complete mess. We don't learn from those lessons. We just keep talking about how we're going to kill them all because that's American rhetoric. We're just going to kill everyone. And everyone is apparently all bad guys because none of this makes any sense to anyone. But as long as you joke about it on a Fox News program, then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just as, by the way, he said we need a president that values the border. So where there's no cartel activity, where there no thefts, where there no deaths, any of this, when that guy who was just in office before Biden did value the border with that wall he was building? Oh, you mean that money he took from that wall that he was supposed to be building and put in his pockets along with Steve Bannon, who, by the way, still has to face those charges. So come back again to what is about a president that values the border that will stop something like this? How come President Trump didn't just go attacking and murder all folks that are surrounding anyone that he thinks is in a cartel? Why didn't he do that? Why didn't he do that? Is he soft?
JR, as we all know, the best way to show that you value the border is to send troops over it to the other side. That's how you demonstrate a proper respect for sovereignty, is by invading another country. And to be clear, while it sucks that Greg Gutfeld, who for some reason has an audience, is advocating for that, it's not the worst part. The worst part, I suppose, is that Donald Trump is also advocating for it, and he might well be president again in about a year. He has recently, in just the past few weeks, discussed sending special forces and using cyber warfare to target cartel leaders if he's reelected president, asking for, quote, battle plans to strike Mexico. Representatives Dan Crenshaw and Mike Waltz introduced a bill seeking authorization for the use of military force to, quote, put us at war with the cartels. Again, the cartels are criminal organizations. They're the people of Mexico. You can't just be like, oh, we used a term, so now we can invade Canada or whatever. Senator Tom Cotton said he's open to sending US troops into Mexico to target drug lords, even without that nation's permission, which is the literal definition of an invasion. I don't know what that word is supposed to mean other than we asked for the ability to send our troops and they said no, but we're doing it anyway to kill people. Anyway, Vivek Ramaswamy said he backs an authorization for the use of military force for specific groups Okay, good. So it's not going to be a wild, chaotic war. It's going to be a very targeted war. The US has notably never gotten drawn into a larger conflict when it aims to accomplish specific goals in another country. Anyway, this is just advocacy for war. So again, when you are told that the right, that Fox News specifically, is against war, and that's why they don't support aid to Ukraine or whatever, as if you needed a reminder that that's BS. They're openly advocating for more military spending to invade more countries. They just don't want the stuff going to Ukraine. They want it flooding into northern Mexico.
And by the way, specifically for their political reasons, to say that they did something. There's no end game to this. There's no actual end to the problems with the drug use and the trafficking and the deaths that are surrounding it. None of that would come from this. How would that end? That's always the next question that should be asked. So then what happens? How?
Yeah.
How? Just one, how? Of all the 5, 6 questions, who, what, when, where, why, how, and when, just ask how.